Welcome to the Peace and Possibilities podcast. This is Julie Bruns, and you are about to be inspired. I am so excited to share my conversations with amazing people from all walks of life who figured out how to be happy, peaceful, and content doing work they love and making the world a better place so that you can see what's possible for your life. I can't wait to hear what you think. Send me an email and let me know one thing you're taking away from this episode. And never forget, anything really is possible. Welcome, everyone. My guest this week is Lisa Anderson. And Lisa and I were introduced, Lisa, by someone on your team that reached out to me to see about, being a guest on my podcast, which is always such fun for me because I meet people organically and then I ask them to come on if I think they're going to be a good story and a good fit. It's really all about just, wanting to share your story of success. And when people come to me, it means like they heard my podcast through someone else, or we're just, so it's fun to hear. I don't know how you came across me or the person on your team did. I was just curious. I didn't even think to ask you that until just this moment. So I welcome. And how did you hear about it?
Well, I heard from it through Kay. She is the person that organized the podcast. She told me how wonderful the show was and what you do. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's pretty much in the same field I am in. So I thought that would be a great fit for us to get together.
It's awesome. I love meeting new people that are like-minded, and I say like-minded, not like everyone has to have the same opinion, but like-minded, of seeing the possibilities and doing great work in the world and wanting to be positive force in the world. So welcome, and tell everyone what you do and how you got to this place in your career. I'm excited too because I don't know.
Well, the thing is, I am a life and business coach. It started off, this journey was not an easy journey for me because I come from a background of business and marketing where I worked in corporate, and you know how that goes. It's stressful, kind of switch, and that's what I did. The thing is with my career is that I realized that from an early age, I did not like to feel tied down. That was one thing I didn't like. And I realized money wasn't it. It was a thing of I wanted peace. I like my freedom. I like the get up and go factor. And I wanted that balance in my life. And that's why I chose to switch over into my field. And one thing I find, working in marketing and business for so long, even owners, when you work with them, you find that they too have this part inside of them where they feel like it's just like they can't get it together. They're constantly stressed, and it's a thing of they also have that negative voice going on with them where they doubt themselves and things of that nature. So I found myself even coaching then. So it was like, you know what? Why am I even doing this?
God, that's funny. You were already doing it. You just didn't have a term for it. It was like an extra job at your regular job. That's funny.
Yes. And that's the thing because you don't realize that your natural gift is something that you are already doing. And I remember going on 3 different meetings, and I traveled a lot doing marketing and things of that nature. And I remember this one lady, I met her in the airport. We just happened to be waiting on the airplane and we had a conversation. And as we were talking, she was like, you ever thought about doing coaching? And I'm looking at her like, oh no, me, no way. And here it is. Years later, it dawned on me. I was like, you know what? She said that years ago. Like
a random stranger on a plane who you probably never saw again and talked to you for 5 minutes, right?
Exactly. And it's just having a conversation with her. She just picked up that right away. Like I was like, you know what? I do marketing. I travel enough. I'm good. It's pretty much the same thing. She was like, no, it's not the same. She was like, as you talk, I just love the way you talk. She was like, I think you could encourage people. And I'm like, I do that anyway, but I've never thought about doing it one-on-one.
Right.
And she's like, and then she was trying to convince me to come on her team too. She's like, if you ever thought about it, give me a call. I just kind of just threw that card in the bag and just kept it moving. Never thought about it. And years later, I'm like, you know what? I'm actually doing what this lady told me years ago.
That's so funny. I had a similar experience in the last couple of years when I was doing my podcast and writing my book, and I would talk to people that I was meeting aside from my podcast and like that just got laid off, or someone was looking for a job and they have a job but they want a different one. And I would give them tips, and people were like, you should do this for a living, or you that was very inspiring. You should do this for more people. I'm like, no, it's just something I like to do on the side. Same thing. And
Yes.
one of my good friends said, you should be a coach. And I said, no, I don't want to be a coach. No, that's not what I want to do. And now I'm a career coach, which is funny for students. But really, what I wanted was I wanted to work. I did want to go back to that. I wanted college students. I wanted to talk to people at the beginning of their career and show them
Mhm,
and do for them what I didn't have at the beginning of my career and my college age, years.
mhm.
That's what I really wanted to do. But I never really articulated that. I'm like, I'll stay in leadership development. I love professional development and skills. I'm going to do that. And I was doing that, but I'm like,
Mhm.
I can't see the impact. I do the workshop, or I do the speech, and then
Mhm.
I'm done, and then I never get to see them again. I might get one email from the client saying everyone loved it. They said this, and I'm like, okay, well, I
Yes.
can talk to them now. I can't talk to them anymore. But the students, I can. I can see them in the hall. I can see them later in another appointment, and they're like, I tried that, and this worked at the interview, and now I have a job offer. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And now I'm doing that thing that I said I don't want to do that. It's because I really didn't.
Me
I
too.
didn't want to be the life coach one-on-one business coach. I wanted to do in a different realm, and I just didn't know that at the time. Isn't that
I
funny?
know. I think sometimes we go through those stages in life where you're just like not realizing you're actually doing what you love to do, but you just never had a title to it.
Yeah,
And you just didn't look at it in that way. You're just like,
yeah,
oh, life coach. And then I think what also happens is back then, the name life coach and business coach wasn't so popular
yeah,
back then.
yeah.
So that was another thing. It's like, what are you talking about?
Hmm. So I don't even know, where do you live? Where do you do so you do one-on-one coaching, or
Yes, actually I do. I'm on Pennsylvania side.
okay.
So that's where I am. I do travel though. So that was the thing. I like to do group coaching since
Mhm.
COVID. I've been doing everything virtual. That's what I've
Okay.
been doing. And the thing is with doing the virtual, I like it
You
better.
do. You don't miss the
Yes.
live interaction?
No,
Yeah, I
no,
miss
not
that.
as much. I think you know what it is? I think from doing marketing all these years, having to deal with groups and going into all these different places, is like this little period right now is like,
Yeah,
USA moment for me. So that's
yeah.
what it is. But this is the thing though. Since COVID and since I started doing everything virtually, I want to get into retreats
Mm.
later on. That's what I'm going to do later
That's
on.
great. Yeah, so bringing everyone together live in person, but you'll have a more intimate
Yes,
setting. Yeah. Oh, I love retreats. Yeah, that's a great idea because
yes,
people are
and more.
craving that. People are craving that.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Especially for because I'm really into the healing aspect of it too. So it's like with all that going on, I figure if you put them all together in a nice, intimate setting and be able to focus in on the thought pattern and behaviors and just get them in a way in a area where they're actual comfortable, you'll
Yeah,
be able to see them flourish more.
yeah. And they can focus because they don't have all those other distractions, like they're getting away for that specific purpose of wellness or healing or whatever. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great idea. We need more of those retreats, that's for sure, especially women. We know we do. Yeah.
Yes, and believe it or not, I find that because I also do clarity reading, and with that, I find that a lot of people are having this issue when it comes to career and personal life that they're getting overwhelmed more. They're
Mm,
more stressed,
yeah.
and I find that with their thoughts, it's to the point where they're not really sure what to do in this time.
Yeah.
So it's really bad right now. So I feel like when you put them down and you're able to help them with their thoughts, balance their stress levels, things of that nature, you'd be able to get more out of them.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I tell. Well, I have two young sons. I mean, they're 20 and 25, but I have been telling him, and my husband and I have been telling him for years, like all the things that we're talking about right now, as they were growing up, we were saying them. I didn't just start saying them when they became young adults. I started saying them early so they could look for opportunities and see about
Yes.
connecting with people and notice things that didn't feel right and then talk about them.
Mm,
So more self-aware. So when they got into situations, they could be like, I don't like that. I do like that. What's the difference? Oh, that
Yes.
flavor doesn't feel right. Like all of that stuff that was never talked about in our family when I was growing up anyways. I mean, I'm sure I know it's been talked about over decades, but I was never around that thought any of that thought
Mhm.
leadership at the time. And so now I'm using it and doing and sharing it with them so that they don't have to be like me at 40 years old, like, huh, what's this all about? And what am I, like all of that. I'm not saying that you can get there now when you're 20 because you have all these tools now, but you can get there sooner and you can understand more and you can just be thriving earlier and helping more people and having more of an impact because you're learning it all sooner, which is exactly why I have the podcast. So
Yes.
people, it's possible. You can do it at 80, you can do it at 18, but why wait till you're 80 to figure it out? Why not figure it out when you can do the work that you love longer when you figure it out?
Yes, which is
Yeah.
true. You're very right on that. And that's something I realized, even with my son, the same thing you said. I remember at 16 years old, he's like, Mom, I want a job. I want a job. I'm like, okay, what do you want to do? I don't know. I'm like, okay, well, we have to start somewhere.
Hmm.
And I remember at that time I had a project and I'm like, well, you can work for me if you want. So he was like, okay. He said, what I have to do at that time, I needed some spreadsheets done. And I said, okay, work on that. And he did the job. It took him probably about 3 days. And at the end of it, he waited till he finished everything. He's like, Mom, this is not for me. And I said, what is it that's not for you? This
Yeah,
computer?
perfect. Great question.
Yeah. He was like, no, it's not the work. The work was easy. I just can't see myself sitting at a desk all day long. And I said to him, I said, well, guess what? You just ruled out a lot of fields right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Office is not for you then. I
Yeah.
said, what is it that he said? I want to move around. Right then and there, he knew that he wanted to move around.
I love that. I love that he knew that. I was like that too. I knew things. No one was telling me and helping me figure out. I just knew things very quickly, and I was like, "That's not for me. That is whatever." I don't know where I got that from, but it's so smart that he's like that because it's going to serve him so well. All right, you don't want that. You like this. Like so you start eliminating things. You want to move around. All right, that could be a million different things. You could literally be moving in a car and a plane. You could be just walking around every day. You're a mailman. Who knows, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. And that's what I told him. I said, okay, well, you're going to have to look for a job with variety. You need
yeah.
something that offer variety. He's like, yeah. I said, well, how was the actual work? Did you mind working on the computer? He's like, no, I didn't mind that. Didn't mind the test. I just don't like being stuck to the desk or anything like that. But he also realized too, he didn't like working in a room of people. And the
Ah,
reason why I say that is because he ended up getting another job. And after that, he was like, Mom, I don't like working with a bunch of people. It gets me nervous. And I'm like, what makes you nervous? He's
mm,
like, it's too much distraction. So I
okay.
like, and he realized that he likes working, but he wants to work by himself. A little bit of people, not too much. He
Yes.
doesn't like the noise, and he ended up fixing computers. That's what he ended up
Oh, wow.
doing.
That's awesome. I love that he was just, I love that. That's just so important. And it's so undervalued, like just asking the right questions and being able to focus in on something like, what didn't you like? What did you like? Like because you could have said easily, like, oh, you made you nervous. That's normal. And then he would have been like, wait a minute, I have more to say about that. Oh, here it is. I like being
Hmm.
around them. I can't focus when there's a lot of them around. So if I have to work on a task, I can't really necessarily concentrate. So I know I need to be able to walk away and go in another room if I can. So it's so smart. Good for you. How old is he?
Well, he's 24 now.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
24.
Yeah. My sons are 25 and 20 now. And I'm still, we have these conversations with them all the time, but it's just so fun to see them like using the tools and going on and doing it instead of having to, we don't have to have the same conversations over and over. They're figuring it out. We step back, we let them figure out, we remind them of things if we think we need to remind them, but for the most part, when
Hmm.
you do the good job earlier, that's the benefit. You make the sacrifices and you do the good job earlier, it gets really, really easy later.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
It's
that's
always
one thing I do like. And the funniest thing, he was the hardest one to figure things out for. He's my oldest. I have three. My daughter, from when she was young, she knew exactly what she wanted to do.
Mhm.
She was like nursing, nurse practitioner. And I'm like, okay, she knew, and she's
Um,
actually doing it. She stayed with the field. And I think maybe one time she actually worked like in a retail store. She was like, yeah, this is not for me. I
yeah,
like working in the nursing field. And she actually does well in it.
that's
My
awesome.
youngest, I knew from a young age, that little boy, he loved being outside.
Yeah.
That was the thing. He fixed cars, he buy and sell, and that's the thing. He buys and sells cars.
Yeah. He's like a little entrepreneur. Our younger one's like that too.
Yes, he
Yeah.
is. Yes,
Yeah.
and I actually I love that because in today's society, I always say job security. Listen, the only job security you have for a fact is your own.
Yes.
So
Yeah. You're right. If you can be an entrepreneur, like it's a little bit more taxing as far as like you're getting all the business and all that. You have to know be the jack of all trades. But you're right. It's really and it is it's you have no chance of getting fired from yourself. It's just a matter of how much work do you want to put into it.
exactly,
Yeah.
and you control your income. That was something also I learned for myself at an early age. I think marketing gave me that. And that's something I like with that is like, okay, if I do this amount of work, I can make this kind of money. If I
Yeah.
don't do this kind of work, then guess what? I knew that I depend on me.
Yeah.
And that's something I did like. I didn't like the fact that, you're putting in so much hours and then you're bringing home the same amount of pay.
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
No. And that's not fair. Yeah, it's not how it should be either. Yeah. So what do you
Yeah.
think made you successful, like to start this business and then, a successful marketing career before you had the business? What were you doing? Obviously, you're raising kids all this time too. What were you doing to remain happy and peaceful and content along the way and positive and figuring out like what your next thing was going to be with the coaching business?
The funniest thing for me, I've always followed my gut instinct. It was something for me, whereas if I didn't like it and I felt like it was time to shift or jump ship, I jumped ship. That was one thing. I never let fear hold me back. And that was something for me where it's like, okay, my time has come to an end at this particular company. I think that I don't see any more growth. It's time for me to go. That was something with me. I don't like to be overwhelmed. I don't like to be stressed.
You know,
Um, yeah, so with that, that's something I've always kept my own principles and values. If something doesn't feel right, I move on. And when you don't have that fear to move on, it allows you more opportunities to go forward at the same time. Because that's one thing I realized. I do not have any regrets on ever jumping ship.
yeah, I'm the same way. I was like you, where I would see, some people get laid off. I'm like, okay, maybe it's, no, you're not on that team. It's like, yeah, but if they can do
Yes,
that to them, it's like, it's coming. And
yes,
I'd rather make the decision now than have it made for me. And then now I'm scrambling to get a job. I'm like, no, 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 I'm going to do it.
yes,
I'm going to do it my way, not your way. I was
yes,
like you, and I had an education, so I knew no matter what, I at least have a foot in the door. I can get interviews because I have an education, so I had that going for me. And by that time, it was a lot of hard work, years of hard work too. So it's like I know I can get hired somewhere else. I'm going to do that. And
yes,
when I knew when my time was up, I left. And sometimes may have seemed premature, but it's like you said, when it's time to move on. And I never regretted moving
yes.
on. It was like, oh, I did that too soon. It's like, no, I did it. It's the right time.
Yeah, yes. And it is right time. And I do believe in that so much, the right timing, because sometimes we allow that fear to hold us back. And then we question whether or not we should have done it or not. I'm one of those people like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going for it. Heck, whatever. I don't even look backwards.
Yeah.
I practice myself never to look backwards. I'm always looking in a forward motion. And because of that, that has also opened doors of new opportunities. So, you know how some people look at their cups half full, half empty. I'm always the half full. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go here. We're going in this
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah. So, yeah. Looking back, you can learn lessons, but it's not like the regrets, like you don't, it's the right move to make. And you know that there's going to be an opportunity or you're going to have an option. And I've never talked, so I've had almost 150 podcast episodes, which means 150 different people have said to me, I've never had one person say to me, when I made the move, like I made it too soon. Most people have said, most people have said, I wish I'd done it earlier.
Yeah.
I can't remember one conversation where someone said, I did it too early and I should have waited a couple more years. If they said that, it's only because they didn't make the move. But whenever they
Yeah.
jumped, they were like, as soon as they jumped or they did the thing that they were fearful of, they were like, I should have done it sooner. I should have done it sooner. Like you just didn't have the
Yeah.
confidence or you let the fear get in your way. I stayed there too long. And then you stay there too long and then your health suffers, your mental health suffers, your relationships suffer.
Yes.
Yeah. Instead of just trusting your gut and doing what you knew you should have done 2 years sooner, whatever, 2 months sooner.
Yes, it's true. And the funniest thing is I always say one door closes, another one open.
Yes.
And I've always carried that principle with me. So because of not having fear, that allows me to just glide through life. And I would say glide because it's not easy. You're gonna have some bumps and bruises, but guess what? At the same time, there has to be an opening somewhere down the line.
For
So I'm like,
sure.
let's
Yeah.
go.
And fear, I was talking to Cynthia James, was on my podcast recently, and she was saying that, fear is energy and information. It's just another kind of energy. It's another kind of feeling and information. And it's so what if you're a little bit scared, it doesn't mean you shouldn't do something. It's giving you
Yeah.
that makes me nervous. I'm a little bit fearful. That's okay. You can still go forward. It's just like, I'm a little scared. It's just like you don't tell your 5-year-old kid at kindergarten, I'm a little scared. Yeah, you're right. Let's just stay home today. We're not going to go to kindergarten. No, like it's normal to be scared. You're supposed to be a little bit nervous. It's a new
Yes.
thing. It's going to happen for the rest of your life. You're going to join a new company, have a new job, you meet a new person. It's always going to be there. So it's, what are you going to do with it? Like you said, you're going to move forward and look forward and use it instead of just be overwhelmed and stressed about it. Because it
Yes.
doesn't serve you.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
for
that's
sure.
one thing I love. I teach that with my children. I'm like, listen, you don't like something, go. Do not stay. I don't care if it's a relationship or, anything in life. Go, move forward. There is something that's right.
Yeah, it's great advice. It's great advice. Um, what is that? So I was going to ask you what advice you give to people for meaningful career. It's really what you were just saying, probably. If you don't like something, go to the next thing. Is that what
Hmm.
you tell your kids the same thing, and you probably tell your
Yes,
clients that too?
yes, yes. That's one of the biggest thing I tell my clients. I tell my children, I tell my friends. I'm like, listen, I'm not one of those people. I'm very straightforward. You need to be at a stage of acceptance. Let's go. I'm not going to sit here and go over this thing over and over again.
Yeah.
There's a problem. We could fix it. There is a solution. I just need you to be up for the test. That's the key.
Yes.
Because the thing is, and I get it, especially when you have children or you have a family raising and you have other responsibilities, it makes people scared to jump ship
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they're worried about falling and, how's this going to happen. And my whole thing is don't just leave everything at
Yeah.
the same time. Put together a plan.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
You can still have your income coming in, but you could also prepare for the future by knowing that this time next year, I'm not in the same position. I should be a
Right.
little bit further.
You're
And
doing
that's the
something.
way I look at it. You're doing something to work towards that goal. And that's
Yeah.
how I teach,
Yeah.
period. Because I find that even with marketing, if you look at marketing, when you're marketing a business, you have to put out what? 100 flyers to get probably 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to keep going.
Yeah.
So when you look at that, it's like, okay, if you keep trying, keep trying, something is going to come up in your direction. But you
Something.
have
Yeah.
to keep planting in that particular way.
Yeah. I'm a career coach for college students, and I said the same thing. Like get clarity. As soon as you get a little clarity on it, doors will start opening. Like you say, this one's shutting. I'm not sure what I want to do. But you can't just say I'll do anything. You can't just say I'm not
Yes.
sure. You do have an inkling. You're just not following it because you're scared, or someone around you is telling you can't do that, or whatever it is. You have an idea. The more clear you get, the more doors will start to open for you, and then opportunities will come your way. You'll meet people. You'll randomly, coincidentally be at an event or a person. That's not random or coincidental. That happened because you were
Yeah.
concentrating on what you wanted to create, and you were more clear on what you wanted. And then all of those things started showing up. And if you have no clarity and you're like, well, I don't really even know. Well, no, I don't know either. Then we'll just all just sit around and not know. Nothing's going to happen. Like, so research. If you really don't know, start researching. There's a million things you can do to try to figure out what you don't know. But if you just sit around and talk about it and just keep saying, I don't know, nothing's going to happen. You're going to have
Yes.
exactly what you want, which is no direction.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
so right. And I think another thing is for people to understand when it comes to the career aspect of things, know what type of people you want to work with, what type of field you want to
Yes.
work with.
Yeah.
Because even with me, that's one of my biggest things. I know what type of clients I want to work with. I know what type of field I want to work with because you have to know what you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
If you're not comfortable, then, it's like I have no problem saying, you know what? Maybe I'm not the best coach for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's smart. It's smart too because you just even if you tried to, it's like square peg round hole thing. If you try to fit it in just because you're like, okay, it'd be great. I'll get a new client. It's like it's not going to work out if you already know in the beginning before you even dive in.
Yes,
It's not working out. It's definitely not going to work out, and then you're going to be frustrated, you're overwhelmed, stressed.
yes,
You're not going to get them anywhere. You're going to be worse off for it. Like it's a lose lose situation.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. So I tell people, I'm like, I'm very realistic. I'm like, listen, I already know just by once I meet you, I'm like, okay, we can work. If not, guess what? I have someone else I can
there's
recommend
other
you to.
people. Yeah. You have
Yes,
to search,
because
you're going to have to search a little bit more for the right fit. Just like it's
yeah,
like with therapy, you have to click with people and you have to be able to say,
yes,
yeah. And like you said, ready for it. Like there's a solution. Are you ready for it? Or you just want to complain more? Because if you're just going to
yes,
complain, you don't need a business coach. You need a therapist. The coaching is to help you move on and move forward.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell my clients. I'm like, listen, because I have clients that will come in and they're like, I'm like, you know what, you're not really ready for um coaching yet,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Right.
That's okay. But you need to, before you waste your time and my time and your money,
Right.
let's work on some other steps first
Yeah.
because you need to get there first. It's worse when you're trying to push someone that's not there.
Yeah. For
You
sure.
can't.
And yeah, you can't. They say what's the saying when the student's ready, the teacher appears. It's like it's not. They're kind of ready because they're calling you, but they're not all the way there. And they're think it's more like therapy. It's like, well, if you need to talk through it, you need to work on it, and you need to heal. That's different. But once you've healed and you've gotten whatever it is you need to get out of your system or through your system done, then we can talk. But yeah, sometimes you're just not ready, and
Yes,
why waste anyone's time? Yeah. All right.
yes,
So is
yes.
there anything in your life or career that you wish you'd learn a little bit sooner?
Oh my gosh. I think for me, hmm, I wish I had known about the retreats earlier on in life because I think I would have been doing retreats years ago.
When did you discover it? Were you like, when were you like, this is it? I want to do some.
You know what? It was COVID. Believe
Mm,
it or not, it was COVID. It was COVID when I was like, because see, this is the thing. I've always done candle meditation for myself. And I actually brought it into my practice. And one day I was like, I was doing it at the beach, and I was like, you know what? It dawned on me. I was like, I could just be doing this anywhere.
yeah.
What was I thinking? Like,
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
you know,
And then I have clients I do it for online. I'm like, okay, it's fun doing it online, but I see myself at the end. I'm like, how did you enjoy it? It was like, this is great. And then I'm like, imagine if we were at the beach, or
yeah,
imagine if we were somewhere else. That's like, you know what? I would feel so great. And
yeah,
because of that, that's why I was like, you know what? Yes, it's more to doing and living life than just existing.
yeah,
You have to be able to go. And
yeah,
I love traveling, and I knew that from marketing. So
yeah.
because of that, it's like that would be my way of still incorporating the traveling aspect
Perfect.
of it
Yeah, you get to
into
do what you
doing a
love and then
retreat.
share what you love and what you're good at with other people. And then they get to experience what it's like to be in nature and in beauty and how healing it can be and how opening it can be for your mind and for your body too. That's awesome. It's a great idea.
Yes, 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 yes. I think it's an excellent idea. So I'm just waiting for, you know, I was thinking about actually starting one probably maybe next year. So I'm like, we'll see how everything go because there's a lot of problems going on with the economy right now. Right now, I have
Yeah.
a lot of clients that's just really trying to focus on building their business and people are jumping ship left and right. I get a lot of career changers coming in right now,
Yeah.
trying to figure out what to
That doesn't
do.
mean they couldn't use a retreat. I'm going to challenge you on that, Lisa, and I'm going to say they even need a retreat more. Why don't you just pick a date and have it and pick a place? It doesn't have to be far away. Pick a place in
Yeah,
nature
that's
near
true.
Pennsylvania and say, I got an Airbnb. I'm picking 10 clients or 5 clients and come come to nature and come heal and be well with me. That's what I say.
Right, right, right.
Women are
Yo, I
doing that.
love how.
Women are getting together with their girlfriends. We're spending money on lunch or shopping or dinner or whatever. I'm like, it's not retreats don't have to be a fortune. And
Yeah,
they're so impactful and they're just eye opening. And women, I know women that come back for that, even if it's just a regular girls' weekend. Don't even call it a retreat. It's like you come back refreshed and rejuvenated and excited. And yeah, I think it's even more of a reason to have it sooner. That's my opinion.
right, right, right. And she's like,
Yeah.
I love how you think, Julie. I love how you think. You know, go ahead. What
Go
were you
ahead.
saying?
I was just going to ask you if there's anything like from our conversation today, if there's anything that's like standing out for you or you're reminded of, or something you're taking away from our conversation today that's new or a good reminder for you or the audience.
Yes, it just reminds me to continue to stay focused. I love the fact of having fun while working. That's something I will continue to take away from that. I love meeting people like you. That's one thing I do like, where you have the same mindset, you kind of enjoy your work, but at
Mhm.
the same time, you're not taking it too serious. And I think that's what life is all about. You know, for so long, we were in a different mindset where we're thinking that work has to be so serious and, we have to put in a certain set amount of hours and whatnot. I love the fact that I could get up in the middle of the night and work. I
Mhm.
love,
Yeah, it's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah,
I love
flexibility.
flexibility. Yes,
Yeah,
the flexibility is
yeah.
great.
It's underrated and it's so, I mean, and now that obviously it's at the forefront because of the pandemic and everything, but I worked from home years ago, before the pandemic, and it was like, it's better. So you don't have the people interaction every day, which I did miss and being in another environment, but then you get to have a couple hours extra every day to spend with your family or to do wellness activities or to meditate or all those things that you said you never had time for. All of a sudden people had time for them. So they have new
Yes.
practices or learning an instrument or language, whatever it is. A lot of good came out of it. And I like that it's more in general, corporate America is just like, let's be more flexible and let's let
Mhm.
people have a better work-life balance and let's not burn them out so that they leave too soon because that's not good for anyone. So I love that that's on the forefront of corporate America now. So a lot of goods come out of that for sure.
Yes, definitely, definitely. So I hope
So
it
if people want,
continues.
do you do a lot, you do group coaching and one-on-one if people want to work with you or find out more about your work or your future retreats, where can they go?
They could go to www.chrysalis.com. That's my site. I also offer a blog on there that also talk about I do weekly meaningful content around relationships, spirituality, and also the business aspect. So they can find lots
Awesome.
of details on it. Yes, because I have clients, I'm telling you, sometimes people don't understand the main thing that keeps them from moving forward is this, the mental.
Yes, always.
Yeah.
It's
Yes,
always a piece of it,
always.
right?
So that's
Yeah.
what it is. So I try to tackle those issues right there on the site. So
Nice. Well, thank you.
definitely
Keep
great
doing
to
the
hear.
great work you're doing. I loved meeting you and hearing your story. And you're gonna continue to do great work. And I'm glad there's people like you out there doing it and showing everyone else what's possible. And I'm coaching. Do you mostly coach women? I was just assuming like women in my head. I'm seeing women, but do you coach
And
men
you
as well?
know what's so crazy? Most of my clients, I have 60% male. I
Wow,
cannot believe it.
good.
No, but the thing was, I was thinking it was going to be more females,
Yeah,
but for somehow I get 60% more male than females.
that's good. It means that they're probably seeing things that they weren't seeing before too, which is you know getting that mind space and seeing those important things that women know are important too. It's great to hear that
Yeah,
there's men doing it too. So good for you.
yeah, yeah. So I do both. I do work with both though. Uh, don't ask me how it ended up that way, but it tilted
It's
that way, and I'm like,
how it was meant to be. It was how it was meant to be.
yeah. But the thing
Well,
is, with them, I find with them, it's more so. what's going on right now, I find that a lot of men are at that stage where they are aware more
Yes.
um,
Yes.
spiritually. And because of that, they do come to me because of that. And I'm like, wow, it's amazing to
It's a
see
good shift.
that, yeah, the good shift in the mindset with that, and also them growing and wanting to get more deeper into being centered also.
Yes.
That's
I,
another thing I'm
I
finding
love
with
that.
men
It's
also.
awesome.
Yeah, so with that happening, that also helps with their business aspect
Of
because a
course.
lot. Yes, yes, yes. Because I
Yeah.
find that with them, they're learning to calm more.
That's awesome. Well, keep up the
Yeah.
good work. It was so nice meeting you. And I hope people are going to go find your website, chrysalis.com.
Yes,
That's
chrysalis.com.
awesome. Well, thank you,
Yes.
Lisa. It was a pleasure talking to you today.
Okay, it was nice talking to you also.
I can't wait
Have
to
a
hear about your
wonderful
retreats
day.
next year. Bye,
Definitely. We'll
everyone.
see how it works. Bye. Have
Bye.
a good one.
Bye. Take care. Thanks for listening. I hope you loved this episode. Don't forget to like us, subscribe, review, and share it. I hope you were truly inspired. And for a little more inspiration, don't forget to pick up my book, Peace, Possibilities, and Perspective: 8 Secrets to Serenity and Satisfaction in Your Life and Career. I can't wait to get you love in your life.